Welcome to Naveen Tech Hub, where AI meets real-world engineering.
Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've been using ServiceNow as an admin and you're thinking, okay, how do I actually become a developer? You are in the exact right place. Today, we're literally breaking down the ultimate guide to ServiceNow scripting. We're going to smash through that intimidating wall of code and make the mechanics of this platform completely accessible. So let's just dive right in. There's this fantastic reminder from our source material that I absolutely love. Quote, "You don't need a computer science degree to start programming in ServiceNow." Seriously, it is so true. You really don't need some heavy 4-year technical background for this. What you actually need is just a solid plan to master how the platform controls work behind the scenes. You see, ServiceNow development isn't really about building massive apps from scratch. It's way more about writing smart, targeted rules that just guide forms and enforce business logic. All right, so here's the roadmap we're going to follow to conquer that wall of code. First, your developer roadmap. Second, the JavaScript foundation. Third, client-side or the user interface. Fourth, server-side, where the heavy lifting happens. Fifth, bridging the gap with GlideAjax. And finally, number 6, best practices for scripting. Let's kick things right off with Section 1, your ServiceNow Developer Roadmap. Moving right along into Section 2, the JavaScript foundation. So before you can explore the wilder parts of the platform, you really have to understand the core language. JavaScript is literally the foundational building block we use to tell the computer exactly what to do. ServiceNow relies heavily on it, specifically using the Mozilla Rhino engine for server-side execution to automate all those big enterprise workflows. To build that foundation, you need a beginner checklist. You've got variables to store your information, data types so your logic knows if it's looking at numbers or text, if statements to actually make decisions, loops so you can repeat actions without writing the exact same code over and over again, and functions which wrap up your steps so you can reuse them later. Honestly, think of JavaScript like a giant bucket of Legos. You learn what each block is, and then you just learn how to stack them safely. Now look, making mistakes, that is a completely normal part of learning. You're going to break things, and that's okay. You just need to practice small, single-job scripts in safe environments so you don't accidentally wreck production data. ServiceNow gives you 3 great places for this. First, browser alerts in the console. These are absolutely perfect for testing client-side scripts right in your current window. Second, system logs. You can use methods like gs.info or jslog to generate records and peek behind the curtain to see what your code is actually doing. And third, scripts background. This is an incredibly powerful little module where you can safely run raw server-side JavaScript just to test generic code. All right, next up is Section 3, client-side, the user interface. Okay, the client side represents literally everything the user actively sees and interacts with right in their web browser. This is where you create those really dynamic, real-time experiences. On this client island, you have access to some incredible tools. Let's start with the magical GForm object. This is the GlideForm JavaScript class, and it is your absolute go-to tool to customize the form view directly in front of the user. Say you need to instantly hide a field, or maybe show a pop-up alert, or make a field mandatory because of what they just selected, GForm is exactly what you use. Right alongside GForm, we have the GUser object. This guy contains all the details and roles of whoever is currently logged in. The real magic here, it's all about efficiency. By using a quick method like guser.hasRole, you can instantly check a user's permissions right there in the browser. This saves you a massive amount of time because you aren't forcing the system to go run some slow, heavy database query just to figure out if that specific user actually has an ITIL role. Which brings us right to Section 4, server-side, the heavy lifting. If the client side is the tip of the iceberg, while the server side is that massive, heavy database structure sitting underneath the water. When you're operating over on the server, you face a really important architectural choice. When do you use Flow Designer and when do you use a business rule? Well, the standard practice is pretty clear. Flow Designer is highly recommended for process automation. We're talking approvals, waits, branching, or integrations. It's super visual, it's easy to maintain, and it runs beautifully in the background. But business rules are still your absolute go-to when you need strict, synchronous data integrity. That means the validation logic absolutely must run in the exact same thread right before or right after a record gets saved to the database. No exceptions. When you actually sit down to write those server-side scripts, you'll be using the Glide Record API. Here's a classic example of what that looks like. First, it initializes a brand new incident record. Then, it sets the short description to network problem, sets the caller, and finally, it uses the insert method to push the whole thing straight into the database. This perfectly highlights exactly how server-side code queries and directly updates your ServiceNow database. Now, as you build more and more server-side scripts, you are inevitably going to start repeating yourself. But listen, if you find yourself writing the exact same server code twice, just stop. Seriously, put the keyboard down. You need a script include. A script include is simply a centralized, reusable set of server-side JavaScript. Think of it like a handy toolbox, or if you're familiar with object-oriented programming, like a class. You just write your logic once, store it safely right there in the script include, and then you can call it from your business rules, UI actions, or honestly, anywhere else on the server. All right, moving to section 5, bridging the gap with GlideAjax. So we've got our client island running over in the user's browser, and our server island running way off in the database. But how do these two completely isolated islands actually talk to each other when a user is actively clicking around a form? Well, you have two main bridges. If you know exactly what data the client is going to need before the form even loads up, use G-Scratchpad. You just run a display business rule on the server, grab the data, and push it to the Scratchpad. Then the client reads it instantly the second the page loads. But what if you need server data dynamically after the page is already loaded? That, my friends, is where GlideAjax comes in. Honestly, this is a massive aha moment for new developers. GlideAjax lets your client script asynchronously reach out over the network, ask a server-side script include for some specific piece of data, and then pull it right back to the user interface. And the best part? It does all of this without freezing the browser or making the user reload the page. It is literally the ultimate bridge, connecting your user experience directly to your backend database logic. Let's wrap up our roadmap with Section 6, Best Practices for Scripting. Look, knowing how to write code is really only half the battle. Knowing how to write code that is safe, clean, and actually maintainable, that is what separates a true developer from a beginner. If you take away absolutely nothing else from this explainer, please memorize this golden rule. Configuration before customization. Always leverage out-of-the-box configurations, things like UI policies or Flow Designer, before you start writing custom scripts. Excessive custom code just introduces messy upgrade risks and makes the whole platform significantly harder to maintain in the long run. And hey, when you do actually need to script, you absolutely must adhere to core development standards. Instead of scattering your logic all over the system, keep it tightly centralized using those script includes we talked about. When the client needs to talk to the server, rely on asynchronous interactions like GlideAjax so you never freeze up the user's screen. Always secure your server-side code by actively checking permissions at runtime. And finally, please stick to strict naming conventions. Your code should be super readable and easy to find for the next developer who inevitably inherits your system. Wow, okay, we have covered the roadmap, the basic building blocks, the client, the server, and those absolutely critical rules of the road. So, I'm going to leave you with this question. What small, single-job script will you build today to kickstart your transition from an admin to a developer? Seriously, don't try to go build some massive application right out of the gate. Just grab a small block, practice it safely in your personal developer instance, and start building out those little portfolio projects that actually get you hired. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy developing.